Bill, let's talk about the holy grail, right, of e-commerce, which is lifetime value of customers and how that plays into if you're selling a consumable product versus a one-time use product, especially when you've talked about getting in with a customer at Amazon and then trying to migrate them to your own .com or upsell them. Talk to us about that whole framework, because I feel like that's the secret sauce in a lot of ways.
Yes. When we just talked about, you slug it out on Amazon or Google or Facebook, whatever, to acquire this customer, it really comes back to, okay, so what? I sold them $50 worth of stuff. Is that the end? Is it the end of our interaction? Ideally, in a good business, the answer is no. It comes back to this metric called lifetime value, which is on average, if somebody buys from you, how much will they spend over the lifetime of their interaction with you? Hopefully, it's more than one purchase. So the ways you get them to more than one purchase are you get their email address. You hopefully then try to sell them more of the same thing or other things that your brand also sells. So if you're selling them skin cream, ideally they're consuming it all day, every day, right? And a month later, they need more. If you're selling them fireworks, the repeat purchase is a little longer, right? They need it on July 4th, and then maybe you can convince them they need it for Memorial Day, but probably you're going to have to wait a whole year to get them back. A fireworks business, right? It's harder to get a handle on lifetime value. Like, let's say someone goes into a fireworks store and spends $100. It's probably a lot higher than that, but let's just go with $100. If I spent $80 to acquire that customer and I had $20 of COGS, I effectively broke even on the first sale. But if they come back every 4th of July, I don't have to spend that $80 in marketing in theory, right, to get them to come back. So I'm profitable on order 2, 3, 4, 5, et cetera. But in the case of fireworks, I got to wait a whole year to get my investment back. So when you're looking at lifetime value, it's not just the gross dollar value. You got to look at how fast those dollars come back. So Taylor Holiday from Common Thread Collective, he said he looks at 90-day LTV, right? So if it's skincare and they go through it in a month, they'll probably order 3 times. That's better than 3 times taking 3 years. And this was a business that we actually got hurt in. We owned a laundry detergent business and we've since sold it. But one of the things that was tough is people did come back, but it took them 9 to 12 months because the bag was too big. But if we made the bag smaller, we compressed our price point down towards the zone of death. So it was like a catch-22. You didn't want to go too small in the bag because the customers wouldn't pay a huge price for a small bag. But if to make the bag big enough that your price point was high enough out of the zone of death, it took too long. So that's an example of something that you kind of got pinched between these competing forces. The last thing I'll say about lifetime value is when you look at, if you're diligencing an e-commerce business, Michael, you had a great tweet thread about this. Like if you could only know one metric about a business and you wanted to know if it was a good business, there were some votes for the CAC to LTV ratio, the customer acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio. So if it costs me $50 to acquire a customer and they spend $500 with me over their lifetime, that's 10 to 1. And that would be really good. The last thing I'll say about CAC to LTV is everybody quotes it in terms of revenue, but it's supremely stupid because you can't put revenue in your bank. You need to think about CAC to LTV on a contribution margin basis, how much you actually keep. Because if your margins are terrible and you go, I got a $50 CAC and a $500 LTV, but you've got a 20% gross margin, you just lost your ass. So contribution margin CAC to LTV is like one of the God metrics for e-commerce.